Hey there, I'm Carly from Garnet Geckos, and this is Layla. And Tesla's running around on the floor and eating her food, so sorry for that background noise, but she's gonna live her life. So today I'm gonna talk to you about what it's like to be a crested gecko and kind of show you along the way. Layla is an adult female crested gecko who is about 3 years old, and she's a little bit of a chunky one. She's about 55 grams. But when they're born, they're a lot smaller. So I'm going to show you some newborn geckos as well. So as we go through, let me know what you think about this style of video. But so appearance-wise, crested geckos are just the best. They have these little crests in their little face. They have sticky feet, and they have, for the most part, these thick, long tails. So when you see a crested gecko, they may or may not have their tail, and if they drop their tail, they lose it forever. If you're wondering about a crested gecko food source, they mostly eat over-ripened fruit in the wild, and in captivity they eat mostly pre-prepared diets like Pangea or Rapashi. So both of those are really good brands. I've heard of, I think Leaping Lychees is another brand of gecko diet, and Zoomed makes one as well. I've heard has gotten a lot better over the years. She is a flame gecko. That's her morph. Morphs are like the different colors and patterns they come in. But Layla is a really cute girl who just wants to look at you and show you her little face. We have about 20 crested geckos right now, and hopefully we'll be breeding more and getting more as the year goes on. So that's what they look like. That's what they eat. Crested geckos are mostly arboreal, and they spend their time up in the leaves and trees of the forest in New Caledonia. New Caledonia is a little island off of Australia, so very exotic and wild. I compared it to the Galapagos Islands when I was explaining it to someone earlier. She's just walking around, exploring. A lot of geckos are super jumpy, but Layla is not, so that's why I picked her for this video. So yeah, crested geckos come in a variety of different morphs. I'm going to show you some examples of those today with some little clips, but we have harlequins here, pinstripes, lily white geckos, tricolor geckos. There's a lot of different stuff they can be called. Layla does this thing that's called blushing, which means her chin turns pink. It's super cute. And so yeah, they can drop their tails. I also got some questions from our Discord watchers, from our Patreon subscribers who are in our Discord, and they said that crested geckos are kept at room temperature. That's one of the really big things. Sorry, Layla. One of the really big things about crested geckos is that they're kept at room temperature and they don't need heat. So if you can keep them between 70 to 78 degrees, they're perfect, and they need to be misted twice a day. So we call it reptile morning and reptile bedtime, and we go through once a day or twice a day and mist all of them at the appropriate times. You can also feed crested geckos bugs. They eat bugs 1 to 2 times a week, not too many bugs. We like to get super small superworms. Super small superworms. We like to get the really tiny ones that they have at the expos and feed them those. That way they can grow big and strong, just like Layla. Crested geckos cannot regrow toes. They grow pretty slow. Layla's about 2.5 years old. She hasn't grown much since we got her about a year ago. But When they're babies, they start out at 1 gram, and by the time they're 2 years old, they're going to be like 45 to 50 grams. So that's pretty big growth difference, but we had some babies hatch this week, so I'm going to show you what they look like compared to Layla, and it's pretty big difference. So I love an adult crested gecko who will just hang out with me. The little ones are way more jumpy. They can't really do that so well. Crested geckos don't really get hurt if they jump. So if she were to do a big old jump right now, she'd be just fine. In the wild, they jump from trees. So if you're going up from the top of a tree all the way down to the ground, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. We have them jump on the ground. We don't really like it too much, but they don't get hurt from what we've seen. But yeah, so our crested geckos are nocturnal, or all crested geckos are nocturnal, not just ours. And they spend their time up in the leaves and trees, sleeping most of the day. Ours have these little coconut hides that they like to hide in and sleep there a lot of the time. And then during the nighttime, they'll run around their enclosures and play. And they really like to be out in the evening. So that's why we have her out now. It's about 6 p.m. and we're just hanging out, chilling. This is what you could do too with a crested gecko, an adult one, while you were doing your homework or reading a book. They just hang out with you. They are solitary animals, so they don't necessarily like to be with other crested geckos. Now, we put them together for breeding, but from the second they hatch, we give them their own enclosure, their own little house for them to just enjoy their lives. Layla's just chilling. But say goodbye, Layla. Goodbye, people.